Morning. Welcome to another wildlife walk. I'm in my favourite moorland, my favourite marshland, which literally straddles the Hampshire-Berkshire border. So behind me there's Hampshire, in front of me there's Berkshire, and I'm probably right about on the threshold between the pair of them now. It is the 2nd of January 2026, and as you can see by my attire, it's pretty cold. So it's cold, but it's beautiful. So I mean, you couldn't really ask for more than this. Blue sky is imminent. It's about 8:30 in the morning, so yeah, the forecast looks good for the rest of the day. So I am going to have a look around to see what I can find. Always great to see a heron. They are extremely sensitive to sound and sight. They've got incredibly good sight. So it's pretty hard to, in this particular area, because there's very few people that walk through here. In this particular area, you'll tend to see them or hear them rip an almighty squawk before they fly off. Before you got time to get your camera out. I'm using a really small thing, but it's got a super zoom on it, so it's 700mm equivalent of optical zoom. And I just use this because it's so easy to carry around. Yeah, I use a selfie stick as a monopod and see what I can do with it. I do have a bigger DSLR, but I just find it a bit too cumbersome. It's a bit too unwieldy. Excuse me. I think that was that's a grey wagtail that's just landed down onto the frozen pond there. Grey wagtail's very easy to identify because of their wagging tail, and although they are called grey wagtails, they've actually got a very big streak of yellow on them, but they're not as yellow as the yellow wagtails. But yeah, they've got a very distinctive call as well. But unfortunately, it got away because I was speaking to you. I shall go and endeavour. I shall go and see if I can capture it. Well, I think that ship may have sailed. So we've got a lot going on at the moment. Cock pheasant over yonder. You can hear. You can probably hear him too. There he goes. There's also a very vocal green woodpecker about at the moment. Very easy to hear, not as easy to see. Again, they're extremely shy. The first sign of human, the first sign of a human, they sort of make haste, and because they normally feed on the ground, green woodpeckers. They don't peck. They don't actually peck wood. They're not like the greater spotted woodpecker that makes that drumming sound. So you'll find them feeding on invertebrates on the ground. Yeah, but they're very vocal. They're one of the loudest birds in the countryside, actually. What a treat! And the tree behind me, oh, they've just up sticks. They've just decamped the next poor tree. Um, yeah, a flock of extremely hungry long-tailed tits have pillaged what they can from what's left of these oaks, and they move from tree to tree. Yeah, feeding. Oh, that's a treat. Yeah, amazing birds. They're one of the few tits that sort of move around in great flocks. And they actually, they're a very gregarious bird. They aren't averse to yeah, hanging around with other species of tits. So you'll often see blue tits and great tits and coal tits together with long-tailed tits. But yeah, you can't miss them. You can't miss a long-tailed tit. They are little balls with tails on them, basically. They've got a very distinctive call as well, which hopefully this video will help you identify. And their tail is more or less, so they've got their body is, like I say, a small round ball with a little beak in the middle, and their tails are longer than their actual bodies. So yeah, the tails make up the most part of their length. But yeah, lovely little birds. It was great to see that. There's a tree over there. You probably can't see it. There's a heron just landed just on top, and shame he's not over on that side so I could get a proper view of him in the daylight. He's right on top of the tree up there. I think there's a heronry in that direction, maybe about 500 meters over there. But yeah, the herons and the little egrets, they do a lot of their fishing around here in these lakes, but they're sort of man-made lakes. I think this used to be an old quarry, and now it's turned into a nature reserve. So yeah, he's still there. Obviously has no idea I'm here, which is amazing, because normally, as I've said, the heron will, as soon as there's any human presence, they will make themselves very scarce very quickly, unless of course you're in an area where there's a lot of footfall, and for example like a village pond or a lake, something like that, then it'll be a lot easier to spot them. But in places like this where there's not many people, you'll find that the only time you see them is when they're taking off. Check. There's a sort of bank of reeds there. They'll often hide themselves in there and sort of make themselves camouflage, just hunting, and they'll stand there for up to an hour in order to strike and get themselves breakfast, lunch or dinner. Yeah, still there. Amazing bird. I'll try and get some pictures now. Yeah, this will give you an indication of how cold it is today and how cold it was last night. That is absolutely rock solid. Wouldn't want to try skating on it though. A, because I can't skate. B, because I will inevitably go through it and probably die, hypothermia and all that. Right, let's move away from death and go and find something else. You can hear greater spotted woodpecker. It's going to be very hard to see in that little lot, but you can hear him loud and clear. He's not drumming, it's just his sort of alarm call, probably telling me to go away. I'll see if I can spot him though. Yes, I just caught him. Not on camera unfortunately, but he was too fast for me. He or she, couldn't quite tell. There was definitely a red rump, but I couldn't tell whether there was red on the head, which would signify the fact that it was a male. It was too quick though. Yeah, you can't really miss them. They'll start drumming again soon. In fact, I heard one drumming yesterday. They start early in the year, just sort of drumming on good sort of echoey wood with good acoustics, just to yeah, establish some territory. Yeah, so it should be around now, well, January, February really, when they start properly. You'll hear it all around the UK countryside. But yeah, they're pretty well, they're very common. In fact, the great spotted woodpecker, in fact you'll find them on garden feeders as well. Beautiful looking birds. Little egret, fairly common around here, but getting extremely shy in this particular area. If you go down to more coastal areas, you'll find that they're not really too perturbed by the presence of people, but around here you can't get close to them. As soon as they see you, that's it, they squawk and go. But yeah, managed to get one from afar. You can see the lake here still frozen. Hasn't crept above 3 degrees all day. So the days are pretty damn short at this time of the year. We've had around 6 hours of beautiful sunshine, but then another 20 or so minutes, that'll be that for the day. I think we're going to wrap up and call it a pretty successful day. Well, any day spent out in the British countryside is pretty successful. But yeah, I'll see you next time when we shall go for another walk and hopefully see the same or some more species of bird life and indeed wildlife. Alright, see you soon.